When you're standing in a driveway with a half-full gas can, a half-full toolbox, and a schedule that won't wait, the decision to buy a fuel transfer system feels bigger than it should. You wonder if the extra capacity and the built-in pump will actually save you trips to the pump, or if you'll end up with a heavy metal box that sits idle most of the week. That hesitation is exactly why I'm breaking this down, not with a list of specs, but with the kind of day-to-day reality that matters when you finally decide to click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the problem the RDS fuel transfer tank/toolbox combo tries to solve. For anyone who runs a fleet of generators, works on a construction site, or even just keeps a lawn mower and a snowblower fueled for seasonal use, the biggest pain point isn't the price of fuel, it's the logistics of moving it safely and quickly. Traditional 5-gallon jerry cans are easy to pour, but you're constantly lifting, you risk spills, and you have to make a separate trip for each piece of equipment. A 70-gallon tank with an integrated pump changes that equation by letting you store a bulk supply and push it out through a hose at about 15 gallons per minute. In practice, that means you can fill a 10-gallon generator in under a minute, or empty a trailer fuel tank in a single go. Now, who actually benefits from this setup? If you're a homeowner who only fills a single mower a few times a year, the RDS combo is probably overkill. The weight alone, roughly 150 pounds when empty, makes it a one-time purchase you'll have to lift onto a trailer or onto a pallet jack. But if you manage multiple pieces of equipment, run a small off-grid cabin, or need to keep a diesel generator ready for power outages, the bulk capacity starts to make sense. Think about a weekend where a storm knocks out the grid. You have 3 generators, each needing 12 gallons, plus a pressure washer and a backup lawn mower. With a single tank you can refill all of them without crawling around with a hand pump or swapping cans. The toolbox element is where the RDS design tries to add real value. The diamond plate exterior isn't just for looks, it provides a non-slip surface when you're loading or unloading tools in a slick yard. Inside, there's enough room for a standard set of hand tools, wrenches, screwdrivers, a socket set plus a few spare fuel filters. For a contractor who already carries a toolbox, merging it with a fuel tank cuts down on the number of items you have to keep track of. In a real-world scenario, I've seen a mechanic pull a wrench from the same compartment after refilling a diesel truck, then seal the tank without having to set down a separate toolbox. That little convenience saves a few minutes each day, which adds up over months of regular use. On the flip side, there are practical trade-offs you should weigh before you hand over your money. The 15 GPM pump is decent for most small engine needs, but it's not a high-pressure diesel pump you'd use for large trucks. If you try to push fuel through a hose longer than 30 feet, you'll notice the flow slowing, and you might have to prime the pump a couple of times. That's not a failure, just a limitation of the pump's design. Additionally, because the tank and toolbox share the same chassis, any impact to the box, say, dropping a hammer onto the side, will also stress the tank walls. The diamond plate can hide dents, but a serious dent could compromise the tank's integrity over time. Another point that often slips past the headline description is the need for proper ventilation. The tank is sealed well enough to prevent leaks, but it does not come with a built-in venting system for long-term storage of gasoline or diesel. Users have to attach an external vent line if they plan to keep the tank full for weeks. For a hobbyist who fills it once a month, that's a minor step. For a business that wants to keep a constant supply on site, you'll need to add a venting solution, which is an extra cost and an extra installation step. Let's walk through a typical day using this combo on a small construction site. In the morning, the crew arrives and the foreman opens the toolbox to grab a set of ratchet wrenches. He then flips a valve on the tank, attaches the hose to a diesel generator, and presses the pump start button. Within 45 seconds, the generator's 12-gallon tank is full, and the foreman can move on to checking the site layout. Later, a subcontractor needs a quick top-up of a portable air compressor. The same hose, with a quick change of nozzle, does the job. Throughout the day, the toolbox holds a couple of spare fuses and a handheld scanner, keeping the work area tidy. The whole process feels streamlined because the fuel and